good afternoon, Pugas and Pugasitas, all my Barcelona friends out there. So I hope you guys are enjoying this World Cup, and I hope that all the teams that are remaining in the World Cup thing. And as me, I cannot wait for football season to get started with professional football. I'm recording this in a beautiful place of mine. This is kind of like my place of serenity. This is recommended by one of my, what they call this, psychologists or therapists or whatever the hell. And they do like, do you have a place where you are complete isolation? I said, yeah, it's right in my backyard. Like I told people, I'm blessed. That's why when I tell you something, you can believe it if you want. This is not Photoshop, as you can see, or 3D behind me. You don't get religion inside here. It's full 100%. So, when I was in Ontario, South Carolina, I had a place just like this. And here, Idaho, I have it in my backyard. That's what people always like. Why you are always in the woods? Just try to find my peace of mind. And then, that's how I get my mind ready to go fix. Okay, Addy boy. I keep it simple. That's what I'm to do. Country boy, born country guys, and that's where I am. I enjoy my peace with Mother Nature. I hope you guys enjoy this background. Look at the river behind me. And I hope that if you have a place like this near you, you should do this like twice or 3 times a week for mental peace and serenity. You can come here if you're religious, do your prayers. If you like comfy like me, you can come here and do your qigong, do your breathing exercise. I love coming here in the morning. And sometimes I come here at 4 a.m. It depends. And if you're a lady, my advice, come with your best friend or come with somebody who can keep an eye on you. No disrespect, but some ladies can handle themselves individually. But you, my advice is bring something to protect it. But let's get back to the football talk. Today I'm here to do, it's been a while since I've done vlogs, and like you can see on my last episode I had to congratulate Arsenal on their magnificent achievement. But today I want to do this vlog episode number 15 as a special dedication to Barcelona. I want to talk to all the new Barcelona fans. I don't get paid to do this, I do this for you guys for free. But this is regarding the club's history. Because a lot of people want to follow Barcelona. They're like, okay, we've been a fan of Barcelona since 2005. We understand the club, the philosophy of Joseph and Hans Damper and Johan Cruyff. Me, I want to show you, I don't want to force you to follow Barcelona. I want you to fall in love with the club after you understand the history of where you come from. I will do 2 segments. Today's episode 1, and I will drop the episode number 2 for you guys later on. I want you to understand the philosophy of the club, the year the club was founded, why we are called Coolers, why that we and Real Madrid will never get along in this life or in the afterlife. And I want you guys to understand that to follow Barcelona is complete freedom from all the nonsense. But there will still be complications. I remember when I was following Arsene Wenger in his heyday when he came to England. Wenger always said stability and the psychology of not just the footballers, we're talking about like every single staff or football club come to play when it comes to the club's success. Mikel Arteta, if you guys notice, when he got the job in 2019, I'm just going to jump into London for a second to talk about Arsenal. Because it's my childhood club, I always respect him and I talk about him. When Arteta got the job in 2019 after before the pandemic, and Unai Emery left him actually a lot of Unai Emery left a lot of work. So Arteta had to remodel the club, reshape it, from the Arsene Wenger era into his era? Well, I would say it was copy and paste carbon of what Manchester City was. He spent a lot of time at Manchester City. I believe Mikel Arteta spent about 8 years at Manchester City. But the thing is, he spent a lot of time up there. You saw how that happened. But in 2024, the Kroenke family, who are not expert on soccer or football as we call it in our universe, brought in Andrea Berta from Atletico Madrid. And this is what revolutionized the psychology of this football club. I can proudly say that Arsenal is back to their Wenger days. Now, coming to my team, Barcelona, Hansi Flick has a mountain to climb. This is a new era. This is no longer the Camp Nou era. This is the Spotify era. This is where I would like the new fans who follow Barcelona to understand that this club is probably, to me, the most special with the history that it has. It don't just represent the city of Barcelona. It represents the culture. It represents, to my Star Wars fan out there, you have the Jedi, you have the Sith. Barcelona's like, our academy create Jedi sorcerers all day. That's what we do. However, that mentality that we have is, it's kind of like Darth Maul, basically. We just detach ourselves from nonsense and focus solely on football. We don't pay attention to the naysayers, but there is a thing called modern day politics. This is what Barcelona have to adapt. So, I will talk about the history of the club, so that's my main goal for these 2 episodes coming up, 15 and 16. But I want to address current issues before I jump into history. Right now, I want to congratulate the dude, because me and Edu, we got and his cousin at Barcelona, Deco, he's doing exactly the same thing that Edu used to do at Arsenal before he got replaced by Andrea Berta. Barcelona have to resolve this Deco matter. You are a talented footballer, but you are the worst transfer manager in the history of this football club. If Johan Cruyff could come back to life after all he's done for this club from the 1988 era to the 90s, he would have slapped you for this dishonoring club. You have no clue. I find it very surprising that Deco still don't know how this transfer market works. He does, I say transfer market. He doesn't know how the transfer market works. Like seriously, like dude, you have to adapt. We are being disrespected by Atletico Madrid. It's not the first time it happened. And because I wanted to, this issue been burning my thoughts over the last 2 weeks of how a mighty club like my Barcelona cannot sign Julian Alvarez. Now, based on what I'm hearing, let me pull up my notes 1 second. According to the latest news I have received regarding this transfer saga, Julian Alvarez, it's not me. This is it right here. This is, according to the transfer thing. I want you to read this. Hopefully, you guys are seeing this. If it's backward, if somebody's putting this, you may have to flip your phone. Do you know that Atletico Madrid is threatening us with court order because we violated some La Liga rules that we cannot sign players, blah blah blah. We cannot harass the players. Agent, dude, we did not harass the players. The dude wants to come to Barcelona, you have to let him come to my team. can actually play a hostage against his own will. Now they are threatening to have this young man, who's 26 or to be 27 years old, sit on the bench for an entire upcoming 2026-2027 season. In other words, we may miss out on the deal, or they are proposing a transfer to Arsenal Football Club in London to have Victor Gyökeres go the other way, and then Julian Alvarez go to London. Ever since we've been informed this since Thursday, we tried to contact the likes of Harry Kane to come to Barcelona as plan B. Harry Kane has basically told us to come up. We have tried to talk to Oren Zabial from Real Sociedad, and he says he's staying put, but his focus is entirely on Real Sociedad in Spain. He doesn't want to entertain this talk. So we are in a limbo situation where this morning we have signed the young Egyptian phenom. One second, what's his name again? Also, I'm going to put the name, folks. As you get old, you have to rely on the gadgets to pull from. And the young man was signing from the young Egyptian striker. He's 18 years old. I don't know the young man can fully, but that's our only striker right now. It's Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres is within his right. He refused to leave. He refused to leave because there has not been any offer, concrete offer to sign him to the other club. Beside Atletico Madrid, which would propose a swap deal between him and Julian Alvarez and Marc Casado. Casado, if I'm not mistaken, is on his way to Atletico Madrid. There was a proposal from Monaco, but he turned it down because he don't want to play in the car. He wants to remain in Spain with his family. That was our only option to trade and for Julian Alvarez. And apparently his offer was bumped by Diego Simeone. But I believe that my club will find a way to get me a striker because as you can see, I welcome Anthony Gordon as a direct replacement of Rafinha, who I would like to congratulate for spending 5 wonderful years in Barcelona. And now he's going to Saudi Arabia to finish his career. I'm proud of him. We have no hard feelings toward the decision. This is about you and your family. And any man that cares for his family, to me, is a man of respect. Simple as that. But as for the Alvarez saga, we are dealing with many sagas at this club. This is worse than the Arsene Wenger eras. I'm talking about like 2007 to 2015, 18. I'm getting a headache. Every time I wake up in the morning and go to do my blog Ryan's News, I'm not seeing any progress in this transfer market. Meanwhile, the enemy, Real Madrid, the enemy, is stacking up on that. They have signed Cucurella, Denzel Dumfries, Ibrahim Konate, Bernardo Silva. Now I'm hearing that they will sign Michael Olise from France from Bayern Munich for a whopping 200 million euros. Meanwhile, Barca, we are sitting here dwiddling our thumbs like no one will sign it. Jules Koundé, that is something that came to my attention. What do we intend to do with Jules Koundé, who barely played an entire season with us? Yet again, some fans would say, well, Pedri did not play an entire season for Barcelona. All right. I would like Barcelona to find me, to address the issue of Jules Koundé 1 second, I would like Barcelona to sign a young man named Gavera Oliveira from Valencia to be a proper backup to both Pedri and Frankie de Jong. So that way, if they both go out with injury in the middle of the season, we can have a proper replacement for them in the middle. Because Mark Casado is no longer a Barcelona player. And Inaki Peña, the ex-goalkeeper. So these are issues that Hansi Flick will have to deal with, and he's trying. This is a new era. This is a new Barcelona, by the way. We got nothing to do with the Messi era, the Ronaldinho era. We respect them both for being legends, but since 2021, this football club has been restructured, remolded into a new Barcelona, new vision, new stadium. We are moving forward with this project of Hansi Flick as a new leader of Barcelona in the same manner that Johan Cruyff took the club in the late 1970s, because he was the first world-class player that was signed. At the time that he was signed by Barcelona, he was the player, or back then, they didn't have the Ballon d'Or back then. He was the Ballon d'Or version, and then later on became the manager and restructured the club into this attacking giant in football. So, Johan Cruyff, thank you for giving us this legacy. But to address the issue here, when I dig into Barcelona's history, this is a club. I'm talking to the young fans, to all the young fans and the young players and Pelicitas. Barcelona was founded in 1890. Now, during that spell, it was from 1899 by Jerome Gamper and Hans Gamper, two Swiss brothers, who came to the city of Catalonia to practice their craft, which had nothing to do with football. They just were playing football in the street, buying schools. And then one day, Gamper decided to, they had an open recruiting, recruiting program for players who are interested in sports. And this was probably the first team in Europe to do this, where Barcelona's priority was not just focused on football. They were hiring athletes for triathlon, volleyball, basketball, whatever sports that they had. But later on, the football part was from the Swiss brothers, and they had a couple of English investors. So this is a club that belongs to everybody. So you don't have to be from Spain, you don't have to be from Catalonia to follow Barcelona. This club belongs to me, it belongs to you. As my father would say back in my father used to say this back in the late 90s, where he supported both Barcelona and Juventus. My father used to say, Barcelona is a refuge for the lost souls of real football. That's what my dad used to say. It's a refuge. If you are tired, if you are weary, all we do is express it on the football pitch. But again, don't forget the date for the new coolers. This club was founded in 1899, and then after 1909, after the tragic, and later on we had the tragic in 1877. Hans Gamper, the younger brother of John Gamper, he was really the one who introduced football, along with his Catalonian friend. They used to have a group called Bona Nova. Everything I'm telling you here, you can find it from the Barcelona website. So, in October 1899, this is how Barcelona was founded, folks. They put an advert in the magazine for people who are interested in playing football. Now, don't forget that they had a program for the other sports. I'm pretty sure they put ads for like volleyball and basketball and the others. But Hans Gamper, the younger brother of Johan Gamper, was the one who put the ad. He's like, big bro, why don't you build a football team like those guys in Madrid? He's like, why not? Let's put those people in the street, not even professionals. Back then it was just wild.
So on the 29th of November 1899, these Swissmen and a young man from England named William Parsons, John and William Parsons from England, Otto Meyer from Germany, Luis Dorso, Bartomeu Terradas, Pere Cabo, Carlos Puyol, not related, no relation to the captain Carlos Puyol. You have Joseph Liobert, I'm talking all the players that were recruited, Eric Dukai from Arabon. They came together to the gymnasium and founded the club that we know today as FC Barcelona. And we had our first badge, which was created in 1910. And back then there was no stadium, folks. So we had to build a stadium, and there was a place called, today in 2026 they call it the Carre de Paris, but back then it was the Carre of Industria. That was in March 1909. And we used that terrace to make it our home in 1922. So in 1912 we had two TV stands, barely holding 6,000 people. Barcelona has been a club of the people since football began really to take shape into the 1920s. The stadium that we had could barely hold like 6,000, so we had people sitting in the stadium with their ass out. So in other words, the area were exposed to the street, and people were passing when I was driving by. They could see the fans sitting on these like cheap bleachers with their ass out, so that's why the name came coolers. Coolers, or coolecitas, people's asses basically. El culo, coolecitas. The ass people. And when Real Madrid sent their spies and their little journalists to watch our game, that's what they used to call us. Oh, these guys are broke. They don't even have a proper stadium. Look at them sitting their ass out. That's the money because they're sponsored by Franco. Dictator right here. That's what I'm like. And the current badge that we hold now, this badge, this crest, with the Boston FCB logo, this one was designed by a man named Santiago Fermini, because the club have English root. This is why you see the St. George's flag here. This is for England, and the other one are for Swiss, and the bottom one is for Catalonia. So Barcelona technically is very English compared to Madrid. Technically, it's like an English club, a Swiss club, a German club, in Catalonia. You know what they do. Anyway, I'm teaching the younglings. I'm not trying to recruit you. That decision will be made by you whenever you're ready to be a part of something greater than football itself. And then you guys have heard the name Alcantara, Thiago Alcantara. His brother, well, his great uncle, Paulinho Alcantara, who came from the Philippines, made his debut in 1911 to 1912 as our first superstar player. This was long before Johan Cruyff played for Barcelona, and he was the first star until some will say the arrival of Leo Messi, which is totally disrespectful because we have signed superstars from Brazil, 2000, 2001, Ronaldinho. This is why I could not stand the Messi era. I respect him as a footballer, but I could not stand his era. This is my personal opinion. And the rival, we started to dominate locally in 1908 to 1909. But before that, before we came on the Real Madrid map, we had to fight our local rival, which is Espanyol at that time, because we had to basically climb on their back to become. If there is a club in Spain that don't like us, reason it's not Real Madrid. Real Madrid don't like us because we have a lot of trophies. 28 La Ligas. We are short by 6 trophies behind them in La Liga. We have won all the Copa del Reyes. Copa España, we dominate that. In the Champions League, I don't think I've ever seen Barcelona catch Real Madrid in my lifetime. We got to give to Caesar what's his. Real Madrid is the kingpin of European football. And I'm sorry, Barcelona fans, we'll never catch up to them. Not in this lifetime. That's why they spend a lot of money to keep their title as the Galactico that they are. And financially, we have to accept the fact that we don't have money to make these wild purchases. It's not in our DNA. I just explained to you how this club was founded. We were never about money. The Real Madrid was built on the back of the Spanish royal family. We own like 50 to 55% of their share when they were built. Everything about them has always been lovely. With us, it's hard labor. The fans in Madrid own 45 to 40% of the club share. So I can understand from a Real Madrid fan's point of view where they get this idea of Galactico, because why? Not only they have to please the royal family, they also have to please their fans. If their fans say, look, I want to sign this mega star, they have to trust that to do it. That's their DNA, not ours. We have to court them in our academy to do it. And in 1930 and 1939, this is when the whole political turmoil between the Catalonia government and Spain's government started. And during the Franco era, on July 30th, 1930, John Gampa committed suicide. Well, some say it was personal reason. Again, I don't have that information, but this is when the whole definition started. 1930 and 1939, and this is when Real Madrid started to gain power and became a lot bigger it is today. And then after that, on August 6, 1936, Joseph Sanyo was assassinated near Madrid by the Franco military forces. Again, this is the same family who owned Real Madrid. This is where the hate started. Some say it was football, some say it was politics. I don't get into politics, I'm all about football. And then the beef started between me and Real freaking Madrid. So folks, as you can see here, this is why we put in our logo National Club, more than a club. We have lost legends to Real Madrid on and off the pitch. I remember we lost Luis Figo,